Hi everyone, this is Makai Carlson with the athletes section.
And special guest who plays baseball for
North Carolina A&T.
And I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Bruce Wyche. I'm a freshman outfielder for North Carolina A&T State University, and I'm super excited to be here and speak with you guys.
Yeah, let's get into it. And I also saw you're a McDonough, Georgia native.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's really
Yeah,
cool.
man.
I don't live too far away from McDonough. Well, it's a little ways away, but I know where it is. My
Yeah.
little brother, he used to play um rec football for the McDonough Cougars when we were
Uh-huh.
younger. And then
Yeah,
I
yeah.
used to, when I was homeschooled, I used to go to a academy out there, New Creation Christian Academy.
I never heard
Never
of.
heard of it?
I
Really?
went to high school in McDonough. I went to elementary school. I went to elementary school in Douglasville. And yeah, I
Okay.
was born in Florida. I was born in South Florida. I went to elementary
Wow.
school in Douglasville, and I went to middle school in Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Oh, okay. I'm excited to get into that. Wow, I did not know that.
yeah,
But yeah, like you
yeah,
mentioned, so he's a Florida native. Resides in McDonough, Georgia, went to middle school in Canada, and he also plays
yeah,
outfield position. So we're about to get into his story.
yeah. Let's do
So
it.
tell me a little bit about the beginning of baseball for you. Were you kind of like most of us who started off playing a whole bunch of sports and then we finally
Mhm.
targeted that one and then stuck with it? Or was baseball like an instant click for you?
So for me, baseball was the first sport I played organized, which is kind of crazy to think about. Because that's the story for a lot of people. They were kind of thrown into all the sports and they focused on one as time went on. But like I said, I was born in Florida. I lived in Florida for about 5 years. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Broward County. That's where I was born. Um, and then when I was five, so yeah, right after kindergarten, we moved to Georgia. We moved to Douglasville, and I'm 5, 6 years old. I'm in first grade. So my people they tried to get me into something. They wanted me into something. They just want me around the house all day.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, if you see my Instagram, like I'm a bigger guy. So a lot of people assume I play football, and that's what you know. That's what my people were looking for early on. They were looking for football programs, but they couldn't really find trusted ones. So, probably about 5 minutes from the apartment we lived in when I was, in first grade, there was a baseball field. So we went out there, me and my dad and my two little brothers. We went out there and we would just play catch, hit, kind of just have some fun. As time went on, we got into it recreationally, and then from there, it went from recreation to travel ball to high school to where I am now, college.
Wow. So
Yeah.
how is Canada? How is that transition from Fort Lauderdale and then Canada and then also Georgia? How were all those transitions and how do you think that affected your life and who you are right now?
Yeah. So, Canada. I moved to Canada because of my dad's job when I was in seventh grade. So, seventh to eighth grade, I was in Canada. So you asked me, you said, how did it affect me? So I say the pros, like how it affected me positively, was I developed a really good work ethic up there. So seventh, eighth grade, I was, kind of introduced to social media and whatnot, and then you kind of see all the D1 commits, you see all the top name guys, draft picks, guys getting drafted out of high school, and I'm thinking that I'm behind. So I got to work. It got to the point from I was like 12 years old. I'm hitting, throwing, doing something baseball wise every day. From the time I was about 11, 12 years old, that's when it really started to kick in. I will say for me, the cons was the weather. Like it's real, real cold in Canada
Mm.
all the time. It's snowing all the time, and I don't know if I like that. Um,
Tough, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Going from the south, going from the heat all the time to all the way up north, it's a culture shock up there too. Everything's a little bit different. Uh there's not a lot of us out there, if you know what I mean. There is a lot of immigrants. There was a huge Asian population, a huge European, of course, population. There was a huge Middle Eastern population up there. and there were a lot of African people up there. There were a lot of African immigrants. So a lot of people out there. It's interesting. They actually knew like the tribes and whatnot, where their family reside from and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool. Like it was definitely an experience. Um,
What part of
what I
Canada?
what
If I
the
asked
capital,
or not.
Ottawa, Ontario.
Oh, oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, the capital. So that was interesting. Yeah, it was definitely something.
That's so, like you said, interesting and also pretty cool that you got to learn how to be adaptable at such a young age. It's
Yeah,
kind of like kids who are like military brats and they have to learn how to adapt in every place they go in growing up. And so it's kind of like you was able to have that same opportunity and experience that kind of helped shape who you are. And like you said, you was
yeah,
able to build your work ethic and kind of learn about the different cultures. And it was a shock for you. Was able to adapt well and grow from there. So that's a pretty
yeah,
good
yeah,
thing to learn early on.
yeah. Definitely a blessing. And that's probably also when I started like taking my own steps in my walk with God too. So that's a big deal too. Being
Was there
out
like
there just
okay,
go
sorry.
ahead. What's the question? Nah, go ahead. Go ahead.
With your walk with God, was there a significant moment during that time that kind of pushed you towards that walk a little bit more?
For me, I just think being exposed to social media, like you kind of in a way you lose innocence.
Mm.
And I wouldn't like you just exposed to a lot more. So for me, I'm exposed to a lot more good and bad, and I just some things just start clicking in my head. Like you kind of check yourself. Yeah, you get to checking yourself, and then I know for me, um, I kind of always heard that I had to develop a relationship with the Lord on my own if I want to, be who it is I want to be and make it to heaven and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
But it just kind of clicked. I feel like things kind of sped up for me moving to Canada and being introduced to so much more. So yeah, there's pros, but there was definitely some cons out there too. Like that cold. I'm gonna keep saying it. That cold is something different.
That
Yeah.
is funny. Um, Two of those things I want to touch on. I think for me, my work with God, I also had to learn it on my own. Like, like you said, we're taught at a young age, especially when your parents are Christians and your family, like you're already taught, like, okay, read the Bible, go to church, learn
Mm,
God's word, you want to go to heaven. But then once you kind of get on your own and have to find him for yourself and actually like realize why he's in your life and why you need him,
mm,
that's such a special moment and such a special time to kind of harp in on and realize.
yeah.
Um and then your second point as far as the weather. It's funny because I'm the opposite. I say I love cold weather. I live in Georgia
Mm, yeah.
and I don't like Georgia. I hate the heat. Like all the time. I hate the summer. I can't stand it. I like when it's cold, but I like being cozy in the house while it's cold. Like I can't
Uh-huh.
be out there
Yeah.
frostbitten or anything like that. So that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. That is funny. I don't hear that too much. That's funny.
Yeah, people are, "Are you even from Georgia?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a Georgia native. I'm from Georgia. I just do not like
Yeah.
the heat." Like, and in fact, that's how I was choosing between different grad programs, and Florida was actually one of the ones that I was looking into, and the heat was definitely a con for me. I was like, I don't think I could do Georgia humidity and
Yeah.
heat.
Yeah, that's
So
funny. Yeah. And Florida look different too. The humidity, that's
I
something.
can't do
It's a lot thicker
humidity.
down there. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's so interesting. Wow. Tell me about your South DeKalb tribe experience, being on that team and
Yeah,
just kind of
yeah,
things you learned through
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Hey, shout out to Tribes, shout out Coach Willie Slayton. Um, I say they had a lot to do with where I am now. As far as a baseball player, Coach Will, he definitely, you know, I say he's up there. He's top two, top three for me as far as role models. Number one, I gotta say my dad. My dad, you're the coolest. But Coach really, he might be second. That's the leader of that, or the CEO of the tribe, man. So I mean, what do you want to hear? You want me to go back to the beginning? Do you want
It's
some
up to
highlights?
you.
What do you?
If you want to go to the
All right.
beginning, things you've learned, things you
Well,
experienced, best moments, all that great stuff.
well, I give a little story on how we met, and then I'll
Okay,
kind of go into some highlights. So,
go for it.
how we met, came back from Canada. I played on a travel team before the trial. They were called we were just the Sox. We were out there in Peachtree City, out there not too far from there's another organization, Home Plate Chili Dogs. I played with them when I was younger before we moved to Canada. So I went from the Chili Dogs, which is that's a travel team, Home Plate Chili Dogs in Peachtree City, moved to Canada, came back, and I ended up playing with the Sox out there in the same area.
Mm,
So I played with them. What was it? It might have been 2 years, I think. But our first year, maybe even 3 years. But I know our first year, that team we was really good. We played them same kids who was on the Sox. We played together when we were younger, so it was kind of like a reunion when I came back, and we were
yeah.
still playing well and all that good stuff. But man, I couldn't tell you what it was. I guess kids getting older, kids getting bigger and catching up physically, and we kind of start falling apart. Like we just weren't as competitive. Kids didn't want as much anymore, and it's tough because I mean for me, I love baseball, so yeah, I love the game. I love it. I play it with energy. I play it with passion. I just love the game. So like seeing that was discouraging. But we ended up playing the Tribe, and at the time they were terrible. It was really bad organization. I guess you could say it was in a rebuilding stage, whatever the case
Mm,
was. Because when we were younger, the Tribe was really good all the time. But then the transition to when kids get older and all that stuff, they start falling apart. But the Tribe wasn't very good. And Coach Will, he actually invited me not to be a part of the team. He wanted me to be part of the team. I performed well at that tournament, that game, whatever the case is. But he invited me to be part of his RBI, the RBI World Series program. I think it's um something baseball inner cities, something. But it's for base it's for it just promotes baseball for kids in the inner city. That's all it is. And every team, I mean every city, not every city, every MLB team is supposed to have an RBI team, RBI organization, and they kind of there's regional tournaments, then there's a World Series. So everybody, all the champions from their region, they go to the World Series, and it's a big old event. It's streamed live on TV and all that good stuff. And that's actually how we first met. He wanted me to be a part of that team, and they also have a lot to do with where I am today too. Um, but yeah, so I joined his RBI team because he was the coach of that too. And after that, kind of seeing his coaching style and just how he goes about the game, I made the decision to go from the Sox to the Tribe. And probably the RBI and the Tribe is probably two of the best decisions I could have made. And it's no knock to any of the coaches before the Tribe or before RBI.
yeah.
It's just those things work with me. Like I started playing freer because I was playing with people who looked like me, who had the same motives and whatnot. As far as baseball, the Tribe team, I think we signed. I think it was 12 or more kids went to play collegiate collegiate ball. So it's like they're doing the right things. Um, and yeah, with the RBI tournament, that was my sophomore year going into my junior. So that summer, I I had a crazy summer. Um, I hit like 715. That was my batting average, and it was two tournaments. It was the regional tournament and then the World Series. And like that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
insane.
that is
And
insane.
yeah, so that's kind of how my name got out there in that community or whatnot. Um, and Coach Will, he kind of kept pushing after the World Series. We was the runner up my first year. That sucked.
Mm,
Uh, that really did suck. Um, but obviously I played well then, and then Coach Will kind of kept pushing for me. He got me into a few events. There was a double duty classic hosted in Chicago. I was in the Hank Aaron Invitational, that game, the stream. Yeah, I was a part of that.
Yeah.
That's on TV. I was in the MVP All American game, minority baseball prospects. Uh, and he also got me in another tournament hosted in Atlanta at Gresham Park. The MVP, mentoring viable prospects or something like that.
Okay.
Something like that. And that's where A&T seen me.
Okay.
And
I
from
was about
there
to
we kind
ask
of
you about that too.
yeah, that's where they see me. And kind of from there we built a relationship with or I built a relationship with Coach Hall. Great guy, great conversation. Um, yeah, a good program out here. And things kind of just clicked from there. Uh yeah, yeah,
The rest is history.
yeah. Now we here. My first game on Friday. Man, it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm
Yeah.
excited. That's really exciting. I wanted to touch on your journey through NCAT a little bit. Tell me a little bit. I know you said they saw you, it kind of clicked from there. What are some things? Well, tell me a little bit about the whole journey of choosing NCAT ultimately. Were the other schools
Mhm.
also in the mix with that?
Yeah.
What things stood out to you with NCAT, and what are some things that you're enjoying with the team so far, and that you see kind of develop from your time with the tribe experience as well?
Mhm. So as far as other schools, I know I had a couple other HBCU offers. I was talking to Jackson State. Um, Southern wanted me. Um, I was talking to Georgia State. Georgia State's actually the first school I talked to.
Okay.
And there was a guy I don't know. There was a guy from Memphis, or he was supposed to work with Memphis who really liked me, but something happened there and all that other stuff.
Hmm.
Actually, I committed my October of my junior year, and at that time there was still a rule to where schools couldn't legally contact recruits until September 1st of the junior year. So
Right.
like that recruitment process was really only a month for me. But I knew I wanted to go to HBCU just because of the impact that the RBI and the tribe had on me. Just the culture on and off the field like that. That's I know what works for me, or I have an idea. I'm still progressing, but
Mhm.
those are big things. And A&T, they just moved up to the CAA like 2 or 3 years ago, and that was a big part of my decision. The CAA, that's a top 7 or 8 conference, so it's like it's a legit conference. I'm in the HBCU.
Right.
I'm in a good program, so that was definitely a big deal. Did I hit on all the points for the question?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, you did. Yeah, so I'm glad you was able to find your way to NCAT through all of that. I know you said there's other schools are also in the mix, but ultimately
Hmm.
HBCU was something that you wanted to kind of harp in on because of the experiences you already had prior. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. And the emotions and stuff that you went through, I bet you was excited, nervous about how it
Hmm.
all was gonna work out. Because I did see on your Twitter when I was doing some research, I saw some of your highlights, and I did
Um,
see on Twitter you tweeted around October, like you said, 2022, that you already committed to NCAT. And I was like,
yeah.
oh, that's pretty early. So, but like you
Yeah.
said, it was around that time when that rule was in place where it's like you can't
Yeah.
really, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. So, wow. How did it feel being recruited so young? Did you already feel like, okay, my future secured? This is where I'm going, or did you have any doubts at all?
Um, I don't know. I think just how I look at baseball and my career and just like my goals. I don't know. Like I don't mean to sound cocky or anything, but I wasn't really surprised. Like, I kind of knew the type of player that I was. I knew I didn't lack in the frame. I didn't lack my strong tools are what pro teams want and what colleges want. So as far as hitting, I have plus power. I have as far as like average, I say average, but a little bit, maybe a little bit above average as far as average. But I have the hitting tool. I have a pretty good arm. pretty good speed, pretty good defense. So like my tools will play. Uh, I'm projectable because my frame. I'm still working on baseball IQ and knowledge of the game and stuff like that. But I'd say I'm ahead. I'm as far like I'm ahead. So I can't really ever say that I was surprised or shocked. And also, baseball in the Southeast is a big deal. So I'm around a lot of high level ball all the time. So it wasn't really a surprise because I'm seeing these kids who's SEC Power Four, Power Five commits. And I'm right there with them, or I'd say I'm better than someone. You know what I'm saying? So I can't ever say that I was really surprised or shocked or anything. That's basically what it is. And my goal ultimately is really to be one of the best to ever do it, like Hall of Fame talk. Like, it's really how I
Okay.
feel. That's my goal, not just to get drafted or to play in the MLB, but to be one of the best to do it. So I think for me, it's kind of one of the steps and something that I did realize kind of as time went on that the Lord brought to my attention is like it's okay to celebrate. You can celebrate the small things too. Because I would kind of look past it. Like I committed, and I want to say my grandmother was in town. She lives in Florida still, but like I committed, my people they really excited, and like as they should be. But I'm kind of like
Man, just how
yeah,
it goes.
yeah, but I kind of as time went on, me and my dad, we just had a few conversations, and it's just like, you can appreciate the little things too. Like it's okay. So I think with that, I'm still trying to navigate that, like appreciating the small things, the small accomplishments. But yeah, like because of where my sights are set, like because I want to be up here, I feel like I'm still all the way down here. I'm still trying to work my way up. I still got a long way to go as far as my career, what it is I want to do. I still haven't even played a game yet in college. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Even I have to learn that, like celebrating small accomplishments and thanking God for the little blessings that He has in our life before we get to that major blessing, because
yeah,
that kind of opens the door.
yeah,
That's something this week I've definitely been trying to hone in on, because I know I have a tendency to see a big goal for myself that I have, and if I'm not there yet, I'm just like, no, nothing else matters. Nothing else is okay. Like, this is not acceptable. I have to be there without looking back and saying, wow, look at God's hand through all of this, though, up
yeah,
until this part.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think that's a good testament, a good lesson to keep in mind for
yeah.
sure. I know I have to keep it fresh in my head.
Because in that we're learning, like we're just being prepared. And I'm not saying like I don't know what this future holds. I trust God and His plan. But whatever it is that I'm going through now, whatever it is, whether it's through baseball, whether it's through my education, whether it's through my relationships and whatnot, I'm being prepared for whatever it is God has. Like what God is like has me to do, whatever my calling is. So that's kind of that's that's another way that I think about it. Like that's wisdom that I've gotten from the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
whatever it is I'm going through, I'm just being prepared for what's coming. That's all it is.
Right, exactly. He's definitely preparing us for something bigger in our lives, for
Yeah.
sure, along the way. So, wow. What are you most excited about for the season in your first game?
Man, I'm just ready to compete. Like it's crazy to think about. Like this is one of the dreams I've set for myself when I was a little
Yeah.
kid. Like I want to play this game for a long time. I told myself I wanted to go to college. I wanted to play professional baseball at a very high level. And today's Tuesday, so I was 3 days away from happening. So like it still ain't really hit me yet. I don't think it's really hit me yet. But it will when whether it might hit me when I'm warming up that day. It might hit me when I wake up
Mm,
that morning. It might hit me when the national anthem playing. It might not hit me
mm.
until I step in the box. I don't know, but I'm ready just to compete. That's what I do. I just compete.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great mindset to have. I think it's going to definitely hit you at one of those moments.
Yeah, yeah,
I think for me, when I first played softball, um, it hit me right when I hit that. Right when I got in the box, I was like, "Whoa, hold on,
yeah,
this is
yeah,
real."
yeah.
This is it. And it was back when I was like 16, so it wasn't even like in a collegiate level. But I remember because I always, when I watched my brothers play baseball, that's when I knew, okay, I really like baseball. I really like watching it. I want to be able to play softball so I can kind
Um,
of like still feel it. And then once I did, I was like, wait, this is not a
yeah,
joke. This is not me
yeah,
just saying I want to do
yeah,
it. I
yeah,
gotta learn how to
man,
hit this
yeah,
ball.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Wow. I'm really excited. By the time this episode comes out, it's gonna be um the beginning of March, the first week of March, I believe. So you've already been played your first game, you've already been warmed up. So I'm excited to see the contrast and how you feel
Yeah,
after all that when this comes out versus how
yeah,
you are now. So
yeah,
it'll be really exciting.
yeah. Because I know by then we play all in this month. So we opening weekend. We play Delaware State at the HBCU.
Hmm.
Play them Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Next week we go play UNC Chapel Hill. I'm
Okay.
thinking, yeah. And then that Friday we play Clemson.
Ooh,
And
Clemson.
then we play VCU, and then we play Clemson again. So we playing a serious, yeah, we playing a
Yeah, I
serious
got
schedule.
rotation. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll definitely be
Y'all
something
got it.
cool to look back at. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. Oh wow. That's really exciting. Um beside you already kind of talked a little bit. I mean, you can harp on it some more if you want. You talked a little bit about skills and your prowess that you bring to the table when it comes to you as a baseball player. What are I guess more of that, but then also character wise and just you as a person, do you think you bring to the table when it comes to joining any team that you've been a part of, what do you think you as a whole, Bruce as a whole, brings to the table that can just enhance anybody's team?
So I feel like I'm an energy guy. I'm an emotional guy. Not in a bad way, because a lot of people they correlate emotions with bad things. I feel like I stay pretty composed. If you watch me play, I'm composed, whether
Hmm.
it's up or down. I'll stay composed. But I'm an energy guy. I'm gonna be out there. I'm very optimistic. A lot of people tell me that, so I look at the bright side of things, and I try to get people to jump on that same train with me. As far as optimism, um, so yeah, like a positive attitude, positive outlook on things like that, and I'm like I haven't been a part of a team where I wasn't one of, if not the best on the team. I don't know. Again, I don't mean to say that in a prideful or cocky way, but I know the work that I put in, and it shows when we play. If you know what I mean. So I'm gonna be a guy I'm gonna try my best to lead by example. I'm gonna be vocal. I'm gonna be energetic. I'm gonna be encouraging. I'm gonna be optimistic. So those are the things I bring to the table.
Yeah. And those are good qualities to have, especially optimism, because it's easy to be down when things aren't going your way. But once you kind of like can still keep that hope and still keep that energy up, then everybody else can kind of follow that as well and build that morale up and build
Yeah,
the team up and keep going. So
yeah,
that's definitely something that's very important.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, what are some things you like to do for free time, like on your own time, to kind of like give yourself a mental break away from the game a little bit? What are some
Mm.
things that you kind of enjoy doing?
That's a good question, because I think about baseball a lot. So I know for me, getting away, like I try to at least one day a week. You hear everybody say, you got to go hard every day, but at least one day a week, just according to what I believe, and the importance of rest and Sabbath in the Bible and whatnot. I try to take one day off,
Hmm.
um, and not do anything baseball related, as far like physically. And I may watch a little baseball, but yeah, but physically, I try to get away that way. You said, what do I like to do? I mean, I'm a simple guy. I'm a chill guy. I don't do much. If I have an off day, I'm probably sleeping most of the day. I'm a barber out here. I cut
Okay.
here. I
Nice.
wish I would have had a cut. I was gonna wait until the day before opening day. That's why I don't have a cut right now. That's why I got this thing on my head. So,
It's
um,
okay.
uh, I mean, and I enjoy good people and good conversation.
Yeah.
The Bible talks about that too. In Ecclesiastes, it talks about that. Uh, you know, fellowship like over food, over meals, whatnot. So I enjoy that type of stuff. Just genuine relationships and genuine time with genuine people.
Yeah, I feel that. I also like that. It's always nice to have a community to can just be able
Yeah,
to talk
yeah,
to, chat it up with, just be there for your ups and downs and just whatever. Like,
yeah,
it is
yeah,
really important to have.
yeah.
Wow. If you could have, so you already mentioned some people who you kind of look at as role models, your dad and then your coach. If you could trade places with one of your role models, it could be them or it could be someone else you aspire to or you just look up to, who would it be and why?
Trade places?
Yeah.
Man, I like my life. I don't think I would trade places with nobody. But to answer the question, trade places with somebody. Man, I don't know. I guess I say my dad. I just know like I'm kind of at the point in my life where I realize that for people to get to places, they have to go through things. I understand. I know what
Right.
I've been through. I know what I've been through, and I haven't lived very long. I'm only 18 years old, freshman of college.
Hmm.
I know what I've went through, and I know I have an idea just based off what, like, for example, my dad has told me. I have an idea of what he's been through and stuff like that, and he went through a lot, so I didn't have to go through as much.
Yeah.
So, I try not to fantasize or try not to, you know, think that way. But to answer your question, as far as the question, I say my dad, just
Okay.
because, yeah, I think he the coolest man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's very sweet. And then also that is a fair point because I'm glad you kind of mentioned that. I was gonna mention that when I asked it, how thinking about trading places, do you want all of their life? Do you want like you said, everything they had to get through to get to their life? Or did you want like,
oh,
so I'm glad you brought that up because that is something to think about when it comes to looking at someone else's life and kind of
yeah,
wanting that or wanting to see yourself reflected in that. It's like, well, they had to go through some things in order to get to that point. Would you want all of that? So I'm glad that you highlighted that because that was a good
oh,
point. But
mhm,
that's very sweet. What
yeah.
are some
Thank you.
challenges? Yeah. What are some challenges that you yourself had to overcome in order to be where you are right now?
For me, um, I'll probably say the biggest thing was like like that mental struggle and like confidence and whatnot. Like, I've always been, uh, like for me to tell people who know me personally, for me to tell them that I've struggled with that, like the mental battles for confidence and whatnot, it would probably surprise a lot of people just because, um, when I was younger, I was confident because I was always bigger than everybody. But
Mm,
then, as time went on, people started catching up, and you kind of have built a reputation. Um, you kind of build a reputation like you kind of all of this weight is dumped on you. It's kind of on your shoulders, and you have to. I mean, you have to uphold that. You have to, or at least I felt like that. That's how I felt. I felt like I had to prove things to people, and that's
right.
kind of where I went wrong. Because
Mm,
I don't have to prove things to people because the people who are for me and who really love me, they don't. Like they love me for me. They love me because of the person I am. They love me because I carry myself, my work ethic, and whatnot. But the people that I was trying to prove things to, when things went bad, when I struggled on the field, when things weren't all rainbows and sprinkles, then they weren't there for me like I thought they were. So for
mm,
example, I said my sophomore year going into my junior year was probably the best summer I had as far as baseball, but my junior year going to my senior year it's probably the worst summer I had as far as
mm,
baseball. And um that was tough because a lot of the guys was pushing my name out there who was Bruce this, Bruce that. Behind closed doors they talking to they saying, oh, I think Bruce went backwards as far as his career. maybe he's a bust, maybe he was just good for 1 year and all this and all that. And that's tough when you're 16, 17 years old going through that mental
Right.
battle. You have grown men in rooms you're not even in talking bad about you and whatnot. And
Right.
for me, it was learning how to deal with failure because I mean it's baseball, so you're gonna deal with that. But I think it also translates to life, like how to be able to deal with it and learn from it. I know um, for me, that summer was definitely learning how to deal with failure. And when I was younger, um, probably about 13, 14, when we went from, I think, 56, the field, I forgot, I forget the measurements, but the fields got bigger. And I don't know, I don't know, I wasn't confident because I used to play infield. I wasn't confident in the field, and
Mm.
that was a struggle. And then over time, I realized it was I didn't lack any skill, I didn't lack any ability. It was just my mental. I wasn't there mentally. You know what I'm saying? I think it was because I put too much pressure on myself. I put too much. I put too much of myself into the game when it's like, it's a game. You have to treat it like a game. You know what I'm saying? Because when you put all that energy and all that stress and all the other stuff into baseball or into whatever, you get to idolize it. And
Yeah.
that's not good because, it's like, at least for me, because, I don't want to have anything above my Lord and Savior. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah, probably the toughest thing is probably the mental battle when I was younger as far as confidence and then learning how to deal with failure. And I feel
Mm.
like those things, I know there's going to be ups and downs, especially now that I'm in college. And hopefully I play beyond, but I feel like, you know, those things that I went through is definitely going to help me.
Hmm.
Uh, at least mentally, it's going to help me as I continue my career.
Yeah, it definitely will. It's like you said, there's gonna be ups and downs. We're gonna have things in our life that are going great and then things in our life that aren't going so great. But
Yeah,
like you kind of mentioned, those experiences, God teaches us those lessons to kind of move forward from there. Like he wants us to learn something in that time. And he wouldn't allow anything to happen if we couldn't handle it. He won't give us too much that we can't handle. He won't give us more than we can hold. He's with us along the whole way. So in every step of your journey and every roadblock that you face, you know that, okay, I'm not alone in this. Like, this is for a reason. Like, God's going to work this out for my good. And then you just, like you said, keep that optimism and keep that hope up, and
yeah,
you'll be fine in the
yeah,
long run.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because didn't you used to play third base? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I used
There.
to play third, and so that was third baseman from the time it was crazy. From the time I was 6 to the time I was about 15, I was a third baseman, and
Uh,
I don't know. The fields got bigger. I couldn't make that throw for some reason. I
mm.
feel the ground ball on the routine play. I feel the ground ball and throw it away.
Man.
What it was, but I don't know. I then moved to the outfield, and everything kind of clicked from there. And yeah,
Do you ever feel yourself wanting to try infield again, or do you think the outfield is kind of where you want to stay?
I'm not. I'm not really sure. I've kind of thought about that. If I would want to go back, and I mean, I'm sure, like, of course, I'd have to like catch up to get back to that point to be a good infielder. I have to play a little catch up. But I know I'm an athlete, so as far as ability, I know I wouldn't lack ability. It would just be
Right.
experience and reps at that point. So if a team needed me to, or if like I was talking to a pro team and like we think you're more projectable here, then it's like okay, all right. Or shoot for the team I'm on now. If it's like okay, we don't have a third baseman, so and so got hurt, somebody else, they out right now.
There you go.
Step right, yeah,
Opportunity.
yeah,
Yeah. That's true.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. That's good that you're keeping your options open, but you're still enjoying where you are and, building upon that and doing well. So
yeah, 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 yeah.
we're down to our last question. This is really fun. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, me too.
Um, that's good. So out of all of these lessons that you've learned and all of the nuggets of advice that you've been receiving from just your mentors and God and just through life experiences. Out of all of those, what is one piece of advice you would like to give an athlete who is going through or will go through what you're going through?
Um, my biggest thing, or the advice I would give, would probably be, uh, you got to make sure your foundation is strong, whatever it is. Mine is in God and my family. With the moving that we did, I went to like 9 different schools before I got to college. So I moved a lot. I was around a lot of different people, and that also helped me as far as development and growth and my ability and socially and all that stuff. But your foundation got to be strong. You got to stand on something. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. Some people, I don't know what it would be for everybody. I know for me it was God and my family. They gonna have my back every trip. They gonna have my back every time. And it's just knowing that, you just knowing that you can kind of got something to like fall back on. Like you can go your hardest, and if you fail, it's okay because your mom got you, your dad got you, you got your family with you.
Right.
And for the people who don't have that or they don't feel like they have that, I would encourage them to build and develop a relationship with God because I feel like that's the best way to go. And everything from there is like you just got to trust Him and His plan. Cause
Mm.
for me, I put all this time and effort into baseball, but the reality is, it's gonna end someday. It could end a lot earlier than I'd like it to, and I have to be okay with that. And I have to still uh carry out what it is that the Lord has me to do. Whatever this is done. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that. I really do love that. Just like you said, Proverbs 3, mm, let me say it, 3:45. Yeah. To trust in the Lord with all your heart
yeah,
and not leaning on your own understanding. That's definitely been a verse that has become my favorite. But also this year, I've been trying to do more of what Matthew, I believe it's 6:33 to 34, where it said, "Seek first the kingdom of God."
yeah,
Um, because I feel like you said, our foundation is His kingdom.
yeah,
God and His kingdom and what He's built for us. And
yeah,
so I just feel like first seeking Him and His plan and His word, and just having Him speak to me is the foundation for everything else in my life. Before I
yeah,
even ask God to bless what I'm doing or ask God for certain things, I need to first make sure I'm seeking Him and His word, so that way I can be able to hear Him clearly and be able to like succeed in that rather than just doing it out of my own will. So I really do appreciate that piece of advice. I love how all the athletes I've been talking to, y'all are very knowledgeable at a young age. I feel like
mhm,
sports has really led y'all to these big life experiences that a
mhm,
lot of people have not been able to embark on just yet at y'all's age.
yeah,
Um, and it may have like helped you guys grow up a little bit faster and just a little bit mature a little bit quicker in certain ways because it teaches you just like life will teach you certain lessons. So
yeah,
I really like that about sports, that it just kind of like teaches you life lessons early on, that you can apply to real life situations. So like you said, um, baseball may or may not always be there, but you still are here as God's disciple, and He's put you on this earth for something, and you're still
yeah,
figuring out that purpose. So I really enjoyed hearing that.
yeah, yeah. I appreciate you too. Appreciate you having me. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Where can the people find you on social media?
Instagram, Bruce Wyche, it would be two R's, UCEWYCHE. TikTok is the same thing. Twitter, my Twitter. I think it's lil underscore. So lil LIL underscore Bruce, BRUCE too. I think that's what it is there.
Perfect.
That's all I'm on. Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. That's all I'm on. So yeah.
Same. Same here. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed having you, and good luck on your first game.
Yeah, thank you. I
Institute.
appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.